Ohio Supreme Court Chief Justice is unique this fall because of the untimely death in April of former Chief Justice Thomas Moyer, a Republican. That cleared the way for Governor Ted Strickland to name Democrat Eric Brown to the position, and Brown is the only member of his party to sit among the 7 justices. Now voters have to decide if Brown deserves a full 6-year term or if that nod should go to Republican incumbent Maureen O'Connor. Chief Justice Brown served as both a probate court and common pleas court judge in Franklin County. For 11 years, he was an assistant Ohio Attorney General, where his duties included serving as tobacco litigation counsel.
Under what conditions would you recuse yourself if someone coming before you had made a significant campaign contribution toward your election?
What's interesting is that the rules clearly provide that campaign contributions need not be the cause for a judge to recuse. Certainly we have an example of a case, one from West Virginia that went to the United States Supreme Court that was clearly an extreme example of a judge that was eventually told that he should have recused because the amount was so extreme. It was an aberration. It was millions of dollars. But in the ordinary course, none of us see contributions of that nature, and the law is fairly clear that there's no reason to recuse merely based upon a campaign contribution.
There's been a lot of debate about judges who legislate from the bench as opposed to just following the letter of the law. What's your position on this issue?
I believe it is the responsibility of all judges and my responsibility to follow the law as it's given to us by the legislature, to interpret the law and to apply the law to the facts. We don't get to apply our policy choices about that.
Do you feel as if the Supreme Court of Ohio and the citizens of Ohio are affected by the lack of diversity on the court? If yes, how? And if no, why not?
Janae, the answer is yes. We are affected by the lack of diversity, and we're affected in several ways that are very, very important. First, it's important to make sure that all Ohioans that come into court have trust and confidence in the courts. And when those folks come in, if they see somebody that they can identify with, whether that's the judge or a bailiff or a clerk or a staff person, it gives them a better sense of maybe it's going to be an okay experience. Secondly, we need to do a better job with improving diversity in our courts because we're clearly not reaching all of the talent available to us in minority communities throughout the state. And we need to make a special effort to reach out to minority communities to make sure that we recruit into our hiring processes all of those that have talent.
Given the need for judges to apply the law fairly, do you believe judges in Ohio should be elected or appointed?
My predecessor, Chief Justice Moyer, thought that it would be important to take a look at how we select judges and perhaps make some changes there. And I think that that's a very important topic for the public to discuss and consider. It would require a constitutional amendment. I don't view it as my role to lead the charge in any particular direction, but I'm hopeful that the people of Ohio and the policymakers of Ohio will thoroughly debate that question as we move forward.
What is the role of the Chief Justice in dealing with Ohio's limited budget?
The development of the budget is well underway. I'm working closely with my administrative staff, my administrative director and finance director, and we are creating such a budget that will be both fiscally responsible and provide for justice.
Several years ago, the Supreme Court found the way the funding of public schools in the state of Ohio was unconstitutional. Since then, nothing really has been done to follow up on your own decision. Are we going to do that now?
The cases that you're referring to are now over, and they've been over for perhaps 8 or 10 years. There's no cases currently pending in the courts, and therefore there's really no role for the courts at this point in time. The matter is properly in the hands of the General Assembly and the governor. I'm hopeful that they're going to move forward and make sure that we have an equitable and adequate funding system.
If you'd like to hear more of what Chief Justice Brown had to say, go to the Democracy 2010 section of WCPO.com.